Welcome. Once again, we're in the JRB shop and we're going to demonstrate the attachment of the nest under quilt to a bottom entry Hennessy. Shown here is actually a backpacker ultralight model. And I've draped the nest, which has its leg slit, over the hammock for the moment just to keep it off the ground. With the quilt, you get two suspension items. One goes on each end, and I'm going to walk you through the installation very quickly here. First off, you double the thing in half and hold the beaners in your hand. You come up to the hammock, drop the loop over the cord that goes to the tree, and you will get a girth hitch. Tighten the girth hitch down and it'll cinch right on the end of your hammock. Take the two beaners over the top of the hammock, just forward of what we refer to as the Hennessy sock here, and drop the two beaners through. That end is ready for the quilt. Now we're going to go do the other end. Again, holding the micro beaners, drop it over the end, drop the beaners through. You have a girth hitch, snug it down, come forward of the Hennessy sock, take the beaners over the top and drop it down. We're now ready to install the underquilt. Taking each corner on the head end of this is the head end of the hammock. I'm going to simply run the micro beaner through the corner and pull it on. Run the micro beaner through the corner loop, pull it on. Taking the underquilt to the foot end, I've got a loop. I take one of the beaners, put it through the loop and pull, and it attaches. Do the same thing. Basically, that's how you attach any JRB full-length quilt to any hammock. And you could make an adjustment after that. If you pull about till it's down around 20 inches total between this and this cord lock, take the extra and the micro beaner and hook it in the elastic that went overhand. And that will later, when your person's in the hammock, take up the slack underneath the legs. When the head end of the hammock, we're going to make an adjustment. We'll take the two 4 corner loops and pull them out about 10 or 12 inches. And that will reduce to approximately 20 inches, 18 to 20 inches, between the cord locks on the head end. That way when we're in the hammock will press down in and fully expand, and you'll see that shot later on. If you had an eagle's nest, a Papa Smurf hammock, any other regular gathered in hammock, you'd be done. If you have a Hennessy hammock or a tree-to-tree hammock that has side pullouts, you can take the side pullout, and there's a ladder loop that corresponds with that pullout. You put the shock cord right through the ladder loop, and in this case we'll pull it right down to the tab. There's 2 loops in the ladder loop. This is a regular size Hennessy. You use the first loops. If it was a larger Hennessy, like an Explorer or a Safari, you'd use the outer loops. Take your tie out to a tree root, a tent peg, a branch, whatever you're going to hook to, and tie it off at the ground or come back to the loop. On the back side of the hammock, you will find a corresponding ladder loop right by what would be your right, right knee if you're laying in a hammock on your back. And you'll find that Hennessy has provided another loop, another tie-out cord. Again, we're going to go through the first loop, and then we take it down to whatever tree branch, tent peg, rock, or log that you're hooking up to. So now you have the shape of the Hennessy, you have the under quilt attached all the way around, you have it snugged up on the side for the left shoulder and for the right knee. If it was a tree-to-tree trail gear or a Papa Smurf where you've hooked to his little D-rings, you would be done. But since this is a bottom-end Hennessy, we have the issue of the slit in the Hennessy and the potential slit in the nest. The nest is the only quilt out there, under quilt out there, that opens to provide and align with the Hennessy slit. Now what we're going to do is open the Hennessy hammock up and attach the Velcro of the Hennessy hammock to the mixed hook and loop fastener of the nest underquilt. This is going to be a little tricky and hard to see, but bear with me. It's best done from a position either inside or just beside the hammock. Go down to the beginning of where the slit begins for the Hennessy and align the Hennessy, Velcro, and the nest tape. Once they're aligned and touched, go back and squeezing your hand together like the Ziploc baggie on a new style Ziploc. Run your hand along and they'll be hooked real good and sturdy. Go to the other side and do the same thing. Again, take your hand and run it good and tight. And at this point, you have fully integrated the underquilt to the hammock. And you can go in and out through one simple opening as if the quilt wasn't there. I'll demonstrate. As I get comfortable here in the hammock, you'll notice that the underquilt extends past my head considerably and past what would be the arches of my feet, taking care of my full bottom side. It totally wraps up on my left side shoulder, and it fully wraps up around my right calf and my heels on the right hand side, fully covering the hammock. If you were in any other form of a gathered-in hammock, the quilt would fit exactly the same, whether it's a Clark, a tree-to-tree, an Eagle's Nest, a Papa Smurf, a Hammock, or any other brand that's out there. To get out of this hammock in this position, you simply hook the heel through, open the slit, and walk out. You can go in and out as many times as you choose while in camp in the evening, just as simple as if the quilt was not even there. Now I'd like to share a tip with you. During the coldest period of time, when you need to squeak every last degree of warmth out of your system, perhaps it's best not to marry the slits of the nest and the hammock. Watch what happens. I've disconnected the nest underquilt from the hammock at the slit. I'm aligning the nest on itself The nest has been constructed to have the allowance to do this little trick and have a perfectly rectangular quilt that when mounted, mounts the same as any other rectangular quilt. Again, take your hand and seal the omni tape together, or mixed hook and loop fastener, and now you have the effect of a rectangular quilt. It's fully enclosed on the bottom, no light leaks. You can't even see the slit. Now, when your quilt is in this mode, it's like having a storm door over the front door of your house. No air can leak in through that Hennessy slit at all. To enter the hammock, simply push the underquilt down to the left, exposing the slit of the hammock. Get in like normal. And when you pull your legs in, the underquilt is going to snap back in place, caused by the elastic triangulation at both the foot end, the head end, and the left shoulder. I'll demonstrate. And so we're fully in place, and we now have a storm door of warmth over that Hennessy slit, ensuring that we stay warm and comfortable from the bottom. To get out, the procedures are very similar. Sit up in your Hennessy, reach through and walk your finger to the edge of the underquilt, push it to the side, let your legs down, and then you can exit the hammock like normal. There you have it, the simple attachment of the nest underquilt to the Hennessy hammock. And again, the nest will fit on any hammock out there, and the mounting procedures for any of our other rectangular quilts, such as a Hudson River or an Old Rag Mountain, are exactly the same, except the slits don't marry. The quilt will fit the hammock, whether it's a Hudson River or an Old Rag Mountain, the same way as this nest fits. Thank you. Be safe out there and enjoy.